A new folder structure has been developed using the Construction Engineering Record File Plan. The first thing we need to do in order to see this new folder structure is to ensure that we have the correct software installed. So we would launch the Software Center. You can do that by typing Software Center at Start. And here we're going to find the package, ProjectWise Bentley 10.00.03.262. Make sure that this is installed, and then you'll be able to see the new folder structure in the Bentley hosted data source, the cloud data source. So once that's installed, we want to log into the connection client. You can double click here on the connection client on your desktop, or you can go to the taskbar and select Connection Client and select Open. Here we're going to use our email to log in to the Connection Client. So I've got my DOT email address and I select Sign In. And at this point we're going to put in the DOT username and password that you've used previously to log into the data source and sign in. Once you've signed into the connection client, we'll locate the Bentley ProjectWise software and launch the ProjectWise Explorer. You can minimize the connection client and continue to work in the ProjectWise Explorer. You're going to notice a few things here at the onset. We have a lot more data sources available. The ones with the lock next to the data source name are the cloud data sources, and these are the data sources that you've worked in previously. You would go ahead and log into these the same way you always have, but the cloud data sources, all you have to do is expand the plus, and it will automatically log you in because you've already authenticated your login and your credentials with the connection client when you logged in there. So here you're going to see the new folder structure. Here we have the CDOT active projects. You see that I've logged in. And then we have major projects and we have minor projects. The major projects are longer in duration. You're going to see that they will also contain sub-projects that relate to the overall project here. For the minor projects, you're going to have collaboration projects and internal projects. You see I have 22456. This is where the external clients will come in and collaborate with us on projects. If we look at the internal, this is where we keep CDOT data, and no external clients will come into the internal projects. So we have a new folder structure so that when you come into the data source, you typically have 1, 2, 3 clicks before you're at your project, and no more. So here's the project we're going to be working with today. It's a test project I have here. And before we look at bringing documents into this new project, we need to ensure that our advanced wizard is set correctly. So we'll come to the Wizard Manager and select Advanced Wizard and make sure that that's set as the default. And then go to Properties and ensure that we have a check next to the first 4 boxes under General Options, and in the Wizard pages we would like to select the first 3. We say OK and close. Okay, we're going to use that Advanced Wizard for our new document naming convention that we've associated with the projects. So when we bring in the documents into the new project, you're going to notice that we're going in pre-construction, and then I'm going to go down to the drawings, and you'll see the specialty groups listed here. So I'm simply going to bring some documents that I have for my examples here, and I'm going to drag a file into the roadway. this launches the Advanced Document Creation Wizard. And what I want you to pay attention to are the 4 designations that are bolded here. These are automatically filled in by the system. You don't have to fill these in. The project number it gets from the project properties. Originator code, it knows that I'm logged in as a CDOT employee. If you expand, you'll see that HDR, Jacobs, Muller, they all have their own designations. So the system knows who you're logged in as. Facility ID we don't have for this project because it's a test project. But then we come down to our specialty groups and function codes. This is a roadway drawing. We know that because we brought it into the roadway folder. And the type of file that I'm bringing in is a drawing. You can also look at the other types that we have here for type codes. We have calculations, claims, deliverables, and models. So these 4 are required to be filled out. You can further categorize your files by using a subtype code. If we expand, you'll see that for roadway drawings, we have these designations that are available. We have plan, plan and profile, profile. We're going to select standard plan list. And then the scroll bar, if you slide that down, you're going to see generate. It automatically generates a serial number. If I were to bring in another file named exactly the same, it would give us a serial number of 2. Here I can further describe my file. I can say that this is item type 2. And you'll see that the file has been named here. This will be the file name. The project number, originator code, or the CDOT employee. It's a highway, roadway, it's a drawing, and it's a standard plan. And it's number 1 in a series. So when we're satisfied with this, we select Next to go on to the next screen. Here you'll notice that the original drawing that I brought in was called Demonstration, and it's kept that as a description. We also have the new document name and the document file name here. We'll select Next, and we can verify all the information here, as well as the author. This shows that I created this drawing, and the data was processed. We select Next. You can skip this dialog box. We may use it in the future. And if I had chosen multiple files to bring in, I could have selected the Apply Selected options to all the succeeding documents, and it would just go through one at a time and allow me to choose the document code for each document. You can also choose to launch the associated application here. I'm not going to choose that at this time. I'm going to say Next. It's going to create the document, and I will finish. Okay. So if we go to the correspondence folder, you'll see something a little different. I'm going to take an admin document and drop it into the correspondence folder. And you'll notice when the Advanced Document Creation Wizard launches that we look at the specialty group and function code and nothing is filled out. That's because we can have different specialty groups within that folder. So nothing is selected. So here we have the option to choose which specialty group. And here I'm going to say Project Manager. And we'll see if there's any correspondence available. Yes, there is. So I'm going to call this document a presentation. I want you to realize that you do not have to choose a subtype code. It'll go ahead and create the document without a subtype code. But if one's there and you want to select that, you can feel free to do that. Again, we pull down the slider and say Generate. It's going to generate the serial number. You can add the supplemental description. It names the file, and we move forward. It's kept the name of the document as the admin document. You can verify your information, skip this page, and go on and create the document until you finish. So you see I brought this document in, and I've got the ability to change my mind. If I decide that I don't want this correspondence to be a project manager correspondence, I can right-click and select Attributes Document Code and change that designation here. Instead of PM, I want this correspondence to be project engineer correspondence. And then I would just remove the subtype code and save that. So it's changed the subtype code, but it did not rename the drawing. I can do that here by going to Rename and changing the PM to PE, and then remove the subtype as well. And then that will match the document code. So we've set the document naming convention up so that it will give you the ability to find your documents with searches that we have set up for the project. So if we come down to the Save Searches, you're going to see quite a few global searches that have been set up. If I come into the drawings, you've got the ability to look for roadway drawings. If I select that, it's going to select all the roadway drawings that are in the project. I would select the file and go, and it will take us to the folder that that file is in. Okay. Again, from these saved searches in global, if I go to forms and expand that, you can see the different forms that have been created. I can select all forms in a project, or I can select a specific form. The same with media files, deliverables, as constructed plans. All of these will bring the search results if there are any files. Here we have Project Manager. I can pull up all the Project Manager files. There are no Project Manager documents, perhaps a Project Engineer. You see, if there are no searches, it'll give you the dialog box that says there are no files in that folder structure that meet that search criteria. And if it finds the file, it's going to propagate it over here. And again, you can say go, and it will take you to the folder that that file is in. We've also limited the ability to create folders within the project. And sometimes there's the need to keep folders and files in one location for easy access. And the way that we're going to do that, if I come into the correspondence folder and I want to have everything associated with item type 2, all I need to do is right-click on the file and say Set New. And here I'm going to create a set called Item Type 2. And I can describe this any way I want. This is going to be test set for me. And I'll say OK. It opens a dialog box. And from this dialog box, it's going to allow you to add other files to this set. So I'm going to scoot this over a little bit, and I can go to the drawings and go to the roadway, and if these files should be associated with item type 2, I simply drag it into the dialog box. And I can drag that in from anywhere in the system. I can bring in data or deliverables if those files exist, and bring those in. You're going to see here in the title that correspondence is the folder, and this is item type 2. Okay, so if I come up to correspondence, you'll see the item type 2. That's where it was created. If I decide that one of these does not belong with item type 2, I can select it, right-click, go to Set, and remove that document from the set. You cannot simply select it and try to delete. It will not delete from the set. You have to go to the Set, Remove from Set. And that way we can keep our documents together. You can open item type 1 and see the documents that are associated there. You can open them and work on them. And then you'll see you still have the check-in, check-out capabilities. So you're still working within the ProjectWise system, but there is a link to your file in the set so that you can access it easily.